Alright, it says I'm live. If you guys can hear me, please let me know and we will get into it. Let me pop the chat out really quick and get on the old spreadsheet here. We'll be good to go. So just let me know if you can hear me and then we'll get going. I see there's quite a few people in the chat already. What's up, Bill? See, just waiting to make sure you guys can hear me and then I'll start talking. I think my video's delayed, so I have to wait. What's up, Paper? We're good? What's up, Casey? What's up, Mr. Miyagi? Alright, I guess people can hear me. So what is up, guys? Loud and clear from the Florida Panhandle. What's up, Amanda? Thanks for coming in. FE says, what's up, CP16? Thoughts on Mahomes or Watson for Thursday night? Oh, crap, wrong room. Yeah, not yet. We can talk football at a later date, but gotta focus on NASCAR right now. I got a whole bunch of sports going on, so trying to make sure I'm focusing on NASCAR for the live stream. What's up, NASCAR Johnny Z? You're my hero, Kyle. What's up, Mike? Hey, Chris, of the content, who's the cheapest driver you feel safe going with? I have Ross. I'll get into the questions in a little bit, but just quick answer. The cheapest I'm going today is JJ Yaley. Cheapest I'm going is JJ Yaley. What's up, Rob? Appreciate it. What's up, Dead Surfer? Amanda says, like the video. I agree with her. You should like the video. It helps me out. What is up, Max? I'm just going to let people roll in here, and then we will get... I'll just pretty much answer questions. If you guys want the whole preview spiel, you guys can watch the preview video. Kind of just in here to hang out, answer some questions, and talk about the upcoming race. Yeah, no problem, Nick. Every single race day. Although, with NFL coming back next week, I'm probably going to have to move the live streams to... Sorry, I was looking at my MLB Discord chat real quick. Have to move the live streams to Saturday because no one's going to watch a NASCAR live stream on Sunday. So, we'll have to move that to Saturday probably. Blaney to the rear. Yeah, Blaney's to the rear. He got penalized. It was a very stupid penalty. Not like it was stupid from NASCAR, but it was like stupid from their team. They left like, what, a 5-pound bag of something in the car, making it... obviously a penalty, so he kind of got screwed there. Kurt Cole says, did you hear that right? JJ? What about JJ? Chris Austin says, Harvick or the Beeb. Alright, I'm going to answer some... Alright, I think we got enough people in here, so I'm going to kind of scroll up and answer some questions. Sharp Schultz says, what happened to the pool? What happened? Oh, by the way, guys, if you went in the DK contest, there's still like 15-ish spots left. I think a couple of people kind of shied away from this week because I made it $5. I wasn't sure how much to make it, but it is $5 in the top 20% payout, I believe. So if you want in the contest, go to my video and comment your DK username below. I would say do it in the live stream, but I have to invite you guys during the live stream. That would be a little bit tough, but so yeah, if you want, still in the pool, we've got about 15 entries left if you want to hop in. I forget what the prizes are, but whatever Draftkings pays out for 100-man $5 contest. John says, hey Chris, always love your content. I'm looking at only finishing position on this question. Do you like Reddick over Austin Dillon or Reddick over MDB? Pick one, please. Thank you so much. For that one, I would go Reddick over MDB. Austin Dillon's actually been pretty solid at these steep tracks. So I'm going to side with Tyler Reddick there. But it's close. Dustin says, Christopher Bell, Kurt Busch, Matty D, Harvick, Keselowski, and Reddick for main GPP. I think that's fine. I mean, Kurt Busch, he's kind of in a weird spot where he's not starting in the back, but he's not starting up front. So I think he's a decent pivot because guys around him are going to be much higher owned, like Truex, Jones, Keselowski, Jimmy Johnson. So I think he's a fine tournament play. And the rest of your lineup is pretty good as well. Matty D's a tournament option. Harvick's not, but I mean, you don't have to go full contrarian. Keselowski is going to be a lower on Dominator compared to guys like Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin. And then Reddick's obviously like the main chalk play today, but I think it's a fine lineup for sure. Wyatt says, hey Chris, they go to NASCAR DFS. Appreciate that, Wyatt. He says, what's going on with Rash Chastain? Are you playing any? Oh, by the way, I did not have him in my preview video because when I recorded, Reed Sorensen was on the entry list for the 77 car. So I had a lot of questions saying, why didn't I mention Ross Chastain? That's why, because he wasn't on the entry list when I recorded. I recorded that video very early in the week. But yes, I do like Ross Chastain. I mean, I think he can get a top 30, maybe push for a top 25, but starting 34th in the 5K range, I think he's a fine option as a punt play today. Rob says, what do you think the ownership of Reddick and Kenseth will be around? I think Reddick's going to be anywhere from 40 to 50% owned today, and then Kenseth's probably going to be around 25 to 30% owned, I think. Ron says, hi, Chris. What about McDowell this week? McDowell's, I think I have like maybe 5% Michael McDowell. I don't think he's going to knock your socks off, but there's a small chance that you can move up a little bit, but not expecting much. But there's not a ton of great value plays. Like some of these guys are just okay. Priest is by far the best. Chastain's fine. LaJoie's okay. Yaley's whatever. But, I mean, you're kind of just like mixing and matching a couple of these guys. Like Nemechek's a decent punt. He ran well here at Darlington earlier in the season. And McDowell, he's might be able to get a top 20. Bubba Wallace kind of might get a top 20. So kind of just throw those guys in at the end. If we're running out of, if you're running 150, I kind of had to throw in a couple of those guys to make it work. Let's see. Andre says, hit that like button. I agree with Andre. Definitely should do that. Cyber Soldier says, what's up, Chris? How you feeling about Cold Custer? Oh, man. So he's 7,600 starting 14th. I just, like, I'm much heavier on Ryan Newman, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Matt Kenseth. I do not have a lot of Cold Custer at all. I'd have to look at my own exposures to remember exactly how much I have, but it's probably below 5%, to be honest. So not a lot of Custer for me. Let's talk. America says Kenseth, Truex, Hamlin, Chastain, Harvick. I like all 5 of those guys. So I think that's fine. Is that a FanDuel lineup? Because I think FanDuel only does 5 drivers, right? I'm not sure, but I think so. I'm not sure, though. Kirk says he took Chastain this week. Yeah, I have some Chastain. I think he's a fine play. Harold says, gun to your head. Oh, my. Who are you fading, Hamlin or Harvick, if you're building one GPP lineup? Well, if only building one, I would fade Hamlin instead of Harvick, because then you could just pivot to Chase, and then you get the PD play with Harvick that can also dominate the second portion of the race. Let's see. Scroll down a little bit. Casey says, clocking in, hit the like button for Chris. Good vibes. Appreciate it, Casey. Thank you very much. All right. Everyone's saying hi. I already saw these, so let's scroll down. Let's see. Whoops. Okay. Where are we at? Okay, Amanda says, I was able to win our group contest last Saturday because of your advice. I'm ready to do it again. Awesome. Hope you do once again. Thomas says, Elliott, Kyle Busch, Johnson, Kenseth, Reddick, Newman for tournaments. I'm sure I have that lineup. I mean, that's a pretty good lineup. I like that quite a bit. I think that is totally fine. Nemechek, I have a small amount of Nemechek just because he did have a really good race here earlier in the season. But starting 18th, there's obviously a lot of room for downside. But he's really cheap, and he's a decent pivot off of some of the chalkier guys down low, like Ty Dillon, Ryan Preece. And also, I forgot to mention Chris Buescher, too. He's fine as a cheap option, too. What's up, Conscious? Glad you're here. Jeff says Preece or Buescher. I think Preece is the much safer play there. Kelly says, I'm not feeling Harvick today. How about you? I definitely like Harvick today. I think he might be the highest owned driver on the slate, and he's definitely someone I want exposure to. He's just been too good at Darlington, and the playoffs are here. He's going to be on his A game more than likely, and I just don't see how Kevin Harvick doesn't get up front at some point in this race. Derek says, who were the sleeper picks, or who were the 3 sleeper picks today? Sleeper picks to win the race or sleeper picks in DFS? Because it's a little different. Kirk says you're taking Yaley. I mean, I have a little bit of Yaley, but he wouldn't make my main lineup. Certainly not my main lineup, but I built 150 lineups, and Yaley is in not a decent amount of my lineups, but he's in a little bit there just to sprinkle him in. He's probably going to finish in the top 32, which starting 37th at 5,200. I mean, I don't think it's going to be optimal, but you never know. You never know. It's kind of just to fit in like a 3 Dominator lineup. Let's see. FE says, okay, can you comment that on my video so I can remember? Because I'm not going to be able to do this during the chat because I don't want to be staring at my phone the entire chat. But make sure you get in, or make sure you comment, and I'll invite you to the contest. Rockin' Cardinal says, thoughts on Martin Truex Jr.? Yeah, he's one of my higher owned drivers on the slate. I think like the main 3 Dominators everyone's looking at today is Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, and Chase Elliott. And I really like I like going overweight on Truex and Keselowski in tournaments today, and also Kyle Busch, because you get a little bit of PD upside with Busch, and he ran well here in the second Darlington race this season. And then Keselowski and Truex are just too cheap in my opinion. Do I think they're the most likely Dominators? Probably not, but they're just way underpriced. Like, Keselowski should never be below 9K. I think that's kind of a joke of a price tag, especially of how good he's been at Darlington. Then Truex has also been pretty good at Darlington, and he's only 9,400, so I like buying the dip on those price tags. And Thomas says Kyle Busch is a fantastic play in my opinion. Yeah, I like Kyle Busch today. It never usually ends well for me playing Kyle Busch, but starting 15th, I think he's a fine option. But if you're playing Kyle Busch, make sure you pair him with the guy starting up front like Denny Hamlin or Chase Elliott, because Busch is not going to get you those early Dominator points. Roger says, what are the differences in scoring with FanDuel? I don't play over in FanDuel, but I'm pretty sure it's only half a point for place differential. And then, 0.1 points per laps led. And then I think you get 0.1 points for each lap completed. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it is. NASCAR Johnny Z says, pick one, MDB, Newman, or Bell. Thanks. You're welcome, and I would say Newman's the safest play there. He's probably going to finish around 15th place, but starting 31st, that's totally fine. MGB says, Newman Kenseth for the big GPP is a good combo at the tail end of a lineup. Yeah, both of those guys are fine. I have plenty of Newman and Kenseth today. It's totally fine. Greg says, anybody besides Blaney fail inspection? Not that I know of. If you guys hear someone fail inspection, please let me know, because I'm on the live stream and I'm not checking Twitter right now. But as far as I know, it's just Blaney. I was never interested in Blaney this weekend anyway, so it just makes it easier of a fade. Max says, is Truex playable in cash? Yeah, he's playable. It's just I don't think I'm going to go there in cash games, but he's one of my higher owned dominators today. French Connection says, is it crazy to go with Hamlin and Elliott? No, I don't think that's crazy. Now, typically I don't love playing the guys that are 1-2, especially when they're super expensive, but it can certainly work out. It's not impossible for Elliott to lead half the race and Hamlin to lead half the race, so I think people, if they're going to shy away from that, I don't mind doing that in tournaments. I mean, it's a little risky because there's zero PD upside there. I mean, you got guys like Truex, Keselowski, Harvick, and Busch running a little bit further back, but I don't mind that. I'm sure I have plenty of Hamlin-Elliott lineups today. Not like overboard, but I'm sure I have a decent amount. Seth says, who do you like for cash? I think in cash games, you're probably starting with the Elliott-Harvick route. Then you can either throw in a guy like Jones or Johnson. Then you're going to have to dip down a little bit to guys like Newman, Priest, Ross Chastain, Ty Dillon, those kind of guys. And Tyler Reddick, actually. Tyler Reddick's probably the best cash game play today, starting 24th at only 7,000. They just really underpriced him. So it's kind of like the cash game pool there for the most part. Kyle says, thoughts on Bell, Boyer, Chastain, Hamlin, Harvick, and Reddick GPP? Yeah, I think that's fine. I'd be surprised if I don't have that lineup somewhere today. I think that's a pretty good build. Wyatt says, do you like Bowman this week or Jimmy Johnson? I mean, Bowman's an okay sleeper dominator, but to be honest, the guy's just, I don't know, he doesn't have it. It's like he did the first couple of races back from, or even before, when he was at Fontana and crushed that race, and then I believe it was one of the Darlington races, he just did fantastic. I think he did at Charlotte as well, but he just hasn't really been there since like a few months ago, and I just can't trust him really. I have a little bit of Bowman today just in case, but I'd much rather play Jimmy Johnson starting 22nd. MC Sub says, Hamlin, Harvick, Keselowski, Newman, Priest, and Chastain. I like that quite a bit. It's a 3-dominator lineup, but can certainly work out. Hamlin can lead the early portion of the race. Keselowski, he doesn't really have to be too much of a dominator at only 800. He can pick up some fast laps, maybe lead a little bit of the race, but you can probably get a strong finish there. Then Kevin Harvick, decent chance he comes out, wins the race, and leads 100 laps. So, yeah, I think that's fine. Mr. Miyagi says, Priest will wreck and kill your hopes and dreams. Probably. He probably will. He's going to be very high owned today, I'm pretty sure. Very high owned. So if you want to go underweight on Priest, feel free to do so, but I'm kind of trying to be even on the field with him. Let me just make sure my camera's still in focus. Sometimes when I move, messes that up. No, it still looks good. Okay. Ooh, where are we? Okay, Rockin' Cardinal says, how does this lineup look? Hamlin, Truex, Priest, Kenseth, Eric Jones, Newman. I think that's fine. I'd be surprised if I don't have that lineup. It's like a similar build that I'm following today. Most of my lineups are 2-dominator builds. In Fantasy Cruncher, I made sure I put all the dominators in, and I said put at least 2 of these guys in each and every single lineup. Let's Talk America says, do you like the pairing of Hamlin Harvick? Yeah, majority of my lineups are Hamlin Harvick or Elliott Harvick for the most part. So yes, I definitely think that's a good way to go. FE says, so you're liking Matty. I wouldn't say I like him, but he's a fine DFS play. I don't think he's going to go out and do crazy, but at starting 26 at only 6,500, I think he's fine. He did have a really good race. Not really good, but he had a really solid race earlier in the season at Darlington. You're welcome, Derek. Appreciate you stopping by. What is up, King Paid? Nice to see you here. Roshan says, what you think? MDB, Brad, Elliott, Kyle, Priest, and Reddick. I think that's pretty good. Got a nice mix of tournament plays and cash plays. I like that. Don says, do I like Newman? I do. He's probably going to finish around 15th place, and actually his average running position here is 15th the past 6 races, and if he does that, he's going to get you around 40 DraftKings points, which is certainly fine at only 7,200. Let's see. Let's Talk America says, LOL, I have Nemechek. That's my 5th. Sorry, bro. Oh, you're all good. All good. Or 6, yes. You're good. Wyatt says, about how much Eric Jones are you playing? I think anywhere from like 30 to 40% Eric Jones is pretty good. Like, trust me, I'd love to have more Eric Jones. Like, I'd love him to be my highest run driver in the slate, but they made him nearly 10K, so it's just not that viable because, look, a guy like Brad Keselowski can easily outscore him even if Eric Jones gets the top 10. Like, if Keselowski comes out and just happened to lead 100 laps, the ceiling for Keselowski is much higher. So, I actually have more Eric Jones than Keselowski, but I'm just saying that the Dominators have higher ceilings than Jones. So, but definitely Jones is a very safe play today, and he's finishing inside the top 10 each and every single time he's been at Darlington. So, can't imagine he's going to have a bad race here. Camden says, you like Chase plus Ty Dillon or Hamlin plus Yaley better? Cash lineup here. I wouldn't go Yaley in cash games. I think he's okay in tournaments today, but I just can't trust that. So I'm going to go with Chase and Ty Dillon there. Fuzzbro says, I'm new here, bro. Appreciate everything. Very good content. Thanks, Fuzz. Feel free to come by each and every single week. Thank you for stopping by. Dead Surfer says, I'm going to 3D print a Chris bobblehead. Set on my TV during the... If you do that, please send me a picture of it. Tweet me at Twitter. I'd love to see that. Bourne says, Harvick. He must be answering someone's question. Mike says, if you hate money. What did Mike say? I didn't see the message, I don't think. Oh, sorry, I skipped it. Am I crazy to have 0 Harvick and 20 lineups? I'd say you're a bit crazy. Is Harvick a lock to lead laps and win the race? No, but just probability-wise, I think there's a good shot that he's going to get up front at some point. He's just been so good this season. I think the only reason he won't dominate is if he just has bad luck on pit road or if he has a mechanical issue, which I'm not in the business of projecting mechanical issues or pit road mishaps. So on paper, Kevin Harvick should be a pretty good play today. You don't have to, if you want to go underweight, though, that's fine. But I wouldn't full fade him. I wouldn't full fade. Bourne says Priest or Dillon. I go with Ryan Priest there. He's starting 10 spots further back. Father and Son Fishing says, any odds on what happens that takes Kyle Busch out? Oh, pretty much anything. It would not surprise me. It would not surprise me if he gets taken out. And I am planning on being overweight on Kyle Busch today, so I'm mentally prepared for it. Bill says, I'm torn between Harvick, Almirola, and Kurt versus Newman, Hamlin, and Truex. I'm not really big on Almirola today. I'd probably roll with the second option, even though it doesn't have Kevin Harvick. But I think Hamlin and Truex are really solid dominators today, so I'll side with that option. Roshan says Newman or MDB. I think Newman's a much safer play in tournaments. If you want lower ownership, I don't mind MDB, but Newman overall is the better play. Landon says, hey Chris, ready to watch some NASCAR tonight with my driver starting on the pool? Yeah, I think there's a good chance for Chase to do pretty well today, Landon, so you might be having a good night. Conscious says, should one of my 3 entry lineups have my fave number 22, or should I leave him out today? So I barely played Logano in 150 max, so if I'm personally playing 3 entry max lineups, I would not be playing Joey Logano because, I just think that Truex, Keselowski, Busch, Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott are just much better plays today. And if we're looking at Logano's numbers at Darlington, they're not terrible, but he doesn't typically lead laps here. 2 top 5s, average finish of 10.5, only averaging 35.4 DK points per race. He's a decent low-owned GPP play today, and I've got less than 10%, but if I'm building 3 entry max, I'm not playing him. Derek says, sleeper picks for DFS. Well, I like pretty much everybody. I'm trying to think of the chalks and the pivots. So Kurt Busch, okay, I'm not saying that this is my favorite play, but Kurt Busch is a decent sleeper today because I think he's going to be lower owned, much lower owned than guys like Truex, Jones, Keselowski, Johnson. I think he's a decent pivot there if you're looking at his numbers at Darlington. Not too bad. Average running position of 10.3, 2 top 5s and 4 top 10s, averaging nearly 45 DraftKings points per race, and he's starting 16th, which kind of puts him in no man's land because he doesn't offer you a whole bunch of PD upside, but he's certainly got top 10 potential here, so I don't mind Kurt. And then, I don't know, just trying to think of some sleeper plays here. I mean, maybe MDB is a pivot off of Newman and Tyler Reddick. He's got a couple of top 10s here. He top 10'd here earlier in the season. That could be a decent sleeper. And then after that, I mean, I don't know if you'd call Chris Buescher a sleeper starting 20th, but he might go a little bit lower owned than he should because he's starting a little bit higher up than the rest of these guys. But he's actually has some decent track history here at Darlington. Now, earlier in the season, he did not run well whatsoever, but he's got 4 top 20s and 2 top 15s. So I think maybe those are some decent pivots today, but again, those aren't my most favorite plays. I was just trying to find you a pivot. Drake says, who's your favorite cash plays? Kevin Harvick, Tyler Reddick, Eric Jones, pretty much. I mean, those are the safe plays. Then, I mean, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin are fine too. Landon says, what do you think about Ryan Blaney getting a penalty minus 10 points starting in the rear? Yeah, that sucks. You guys know I'm a Blaney fan, but I mean, I'm more of a NASCAR DFS fan than I am a Blaney fan. But yeah, it sucks for him for sure because it was a silly mistake too. It was something that could have easily been avoided. So kind of a boneheaded move there to start the playoffs. Amanda says, we do a private contest, and I picked Hamlin, Harvick, Boyer, Bell, Reddick. What do you think? Okay, I like Hamlin. I like Harvick. Boyer's a little iffy. Bell's fine. Reddick's fine. So, yeah, the only iffy guy there is Boyer, but I don't hate that. I don't think it's a bad lineup. King Paid says, Harvick, Elliott, LaJoy, or Keselowski, Truex, Priest, and GPPs if price didn't matter. Okay, I'll tell you right now, Harvick, Elliott are going to be very chalky. So if you want the lower ownership, Keselowski and Truex are excellent options. But I just like the upside with Harvick and Elliott a little bit more, so I'll start with the first one. FE says, best of Newman, Reddick, or Christopher Bell. I would go with Tyler Reddick there. I think Ryan Newman's also going to be pretty chalky, but I think Tyler Reddick's going to be the highest owned of that group. And in terms of ownership, I would rank that Tyler Reddick, Newman, Christopher Bell. Andre says, would you pivot off of Jones to Truex and GPP? Hearing 3 potential DOMs, a good GPP route controlling. Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, I have pretty much similar exposure to Truex and Jones today, if that helps you. Seth says, Eric Jones or Truex for cash. Assuming you already have 2 other Dominators, I would say Jones over Truex for cash because, look, if Truex doesn't dominate, good chance that Eric Jones is going to outscore Truex today. Greg says 174 people on the chat and only 31 likes. Come on, is there only 31 likes? I feel like there's more. But I'm going to check and see how many people are in here, though. No, we got 90 likes. Must not be refreshed for you. All right, let's see. Dude says, you were correct, Chris, on the FanDuel scoring. Wow, I said that a long time ago. Am I really that far behind in the chat? But good. FV says, hey, I'm Brad K today. Got to make some money. Yeah, I got some Brad K as well. That donkey says, favorite 2 raw point drivers below Keselowski. Well, I don't have my projections pulled up, but let me see if I can remember off the top of my head. Below Keselowski? Probably it's Jimmy Johnson and Tyler Reddick. Probably either Newman, Reddick, or Jimmy Johnson. Off the top of my head, I think. Ron says, how much do you spend if you make 150 lineups? Do you do that for every sport? Depends on the contest. Sometimes I play the lug nut. Sometimes I'll play the big contest. I also do some single entries, but it can be around $1,000. But for every sport, I do not do 150 max for any other sport besides NASCAR. I just stick to single entries and cash games for the other ones because I just don't personally feel as confident making 150 lineups for other sports. I feel like for NASCAR, I got the builds down and I feel pretty comfortable with that. But with the other sports, I stick to 1 to 3 lineups and then just enter them in a bunch of cash games and GPPs. Or single entry GPPs. Amanda says, let's see, I already answered that. What's up, Terry? Welcome in. JJJ says thoughts on Chastain. Chastain is a fine option. He is starting 34th. I mean, if we're looking at his numbers this season, he hasn't raced a ton, but he's got an average finish of 21.8, running position of 19. Now, keep in mind, he was in Ryan Newman's car for a bit, so his stats can be a little bit skewed, but I think he's probably going to be anywhere from around 25th to 30th place, which is fine at that price tag. Oops. Mr. Miyagi says, Chalk Priest is no bueno. Yeah, it can always be scary. Always can be scary. Don says, keep moisturizing, looking fresh, Chris. Are you saying I look fresh? Thank you. Thank you, Don. If I do. JJJ says, Chastain too chalky for a GPP punt play? No, I wouldn't say. I really don't care too much about ownership for the most part. If it's a good play, it's a good play. Andre says, Reddick over Newman? I would say Reddick over Newman. I mean, he's definitely showed more upside than Newman so far this season. Jay says, Chastain today? A lot of questions about Chastain. So maybe he's going to be popular today. But yeah, Chastain's fine as a punt. I mean, I don't expect anything crazy from him, but I think he's not going to kill you. Father and Son Fishing says, did Suarez have a different motor last week? And if so, what is he running today? No, it was just, last week was Daytona, so that can happen where Suarez is leading the pack. That's just the craziness of Daytona. It doesn't really matter what car you're in. Just depends on where you are in the draft. You're definitely not going to be the case today, though. Roshan says 11,200. I need 2 more. I don't remember who else you had, but we're probably looking at that 6K range. I mean, you got guys like Ty Dillon, Ryan Preece, Matt Kenseth, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Ross Chastain. These are all fine options down here. Whoops. I'm sorry. Went all the way down. 1 second. Okay, Anthony says, this sound crazy. Truex, Harvick, Jones. It's probably like the least crazy thing I've heard. So I think that's totally fine. Totally fine. Born Bless says, I feel like that lineup doesn't even fit, but I guess Reddick and Newman are a little bit underpriced, so yeah, actually that's not too bad because then, yeah, never mind. Just disregard what I just said, but yes, that's a totally fine lineup. Born Bless says Harvick, Hamlin, Jones, or Harvick, Hamlin, Keselowski. So 3 Doms or the 2 Dom with Eric Jones. I kind of like the first one a little bit better. The third one might have a higher ceiling, but the first one feels a little bit safer. Wyatt says Corey LaJoy or JJ Yealy. I'll say Corey LaJoy, but I think it's pretty close. I'm between those two. David, if you said something, your message was retracted, so you have to say it again unless you deleted it. I mean, maybe you did. I think if you swear in the comment, it will retract it, so you can say it again. Bourne says, is it okay to be overweight on Chastain today? Yeah, I mean, I am kind of like trying to be even on the field with Chastain, but I don't hate it. Chris Arrowwood says, how do you feel about Stenhouse Jr. at 5,500 on FanDuel? I don't really do the FanDuel pricing or really know what everyone is priced like, but at 5,500, that seems pretty cheap. He's like, what, $4,000 cheap over there compared to Draftkings, so yeah, I think that's fine, probably. But I'm not totally sure how the pricing is over on FanDuel. Mano says we do a private DK cash contest, and I picked Hamlin, Harvick, Boyer, Bell, Reddick. What do you think? That's pretty good. It's just Boyer seems a little iffy there, but I think he's fine. What price is Boyer this week? I forget. He's 8,100. Not the worst play out there. Not the worst play. Trent says, what's going on, fellas? Let's make some money today. I agree, Trent. Thanks for stopping by. Jay says, Hamlin, Harvick, Brad, Newman, Reddick, Preece, Chastain. Isn't that 7 guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's like 7. So you added someone else on accident, I think. But I like the guys you mentioned. Gerald says, OMG, how late am I? Just a little late. We're 28 minutes in, so. Okay, you guys said 18 minutes, so I'm like 10 minutes behind on the chat. Wow. Okay, Brett says, what about fading both Hamlin and Elliott with caution lap? Harvick or Brad could be there to take over. Yeah, that's one thing. Like, that's why I'm not going higher on Chase Elliott today. I wouldn't say my exact exposures, but I have a good amount of Chase Elliott. But with the competition caution, he could easily get shuffled out at first. Now, I think guys are all going to take tires because Darlington can eat up your tires a little bit. But if he has a good pit stop, there's a decent chance Elliott could come out and lead in the first 100 laps. And by fading, do you just mean being underweight or just completely fading them? I don't know how many lineups you're making. Personally, if you're making a whole bunch, I would not full fade those guys, but I guess you could be underweight. But I definitely like both today. Gerald says, I'm about to smash the like button. Have you? Appreciate it, Gerald. FB says no on the 18. Oh, come on. It's always fun rostering Kyle Busch. Appreciate it, Chris. Thank you very much. MG says Busher a sneaky GPP play. I'm not sure what his ownership's going to look like, to be honest, but I like him in GPPs. Starting 20 at 5,700. It's pretty much just a price play for the most part, but he's shown that he can have success here at Darlington before, so I think he's fine. Gerald says, which Busch has the least ownership? I would say Kurt. Hannah says Matt Kenseth. What about him? Are you asking if I like him? I do like Matt Kenseth today. I think he's a fine, cheap option. Starting 26 at 6,500. Can't really use the recent track history here because it's kind of skewed because it's pulling in some numbers from when he was in the other equipment and he was before he was retired, so it changes things a little bit. But starting 26 should contend for a top 20 today. NASCAR Johnny Z says better pairing Harvick Newman or Truex Kurt Busch. Thanks again. No problem. And I would say the first one. Jeremy says you bought any lineups with Elliott and Hamlin. Yeah, I got some Elliott and Hamlin lineups today. I do. Trent says my most common lineup is Harvick, Elliott, Reddick, JJ, Newman, Priest. Fingers crossed. I think that's pretty good. I wouldn't be too worried about that. You got your 2 Dominators and you got some good PD plays on Reddick, JJ, Newman, and then Priest as well. So I like that a lot. Okay, Hannah clarified this. Matt Kenseth sleeper, top 10 and 15th here last 2 races. Here maybe top 10 today. I would be fine with Matt Kenseth getting a top 10 today because I actually have a decent amount of Matt Kenseth, so certainly would not be opposed to that. Chris says Priest or Chastain and cash. I would go Priest there. And then right below him, he said Roger says Priest or Chastain on FanDuel. Not really too familiar with FanDuel, but I would just say Priest. I think Priest has higher finishing potential than Ross Chastain does. Conscious says, is Priest an overall better play than Bell? I have more Priest today than Christopher Bell. He also is starting 14 spots further back. And Christopher Bell, I mean, we've seen plenty of races where he's just kind of stuck in the 20th position and back so far this season. So I would say Priest is a better play than Bell. But I'd say Bell probably has a little bit more upside if he has one of those strong top 10 runs. He did finish 11th earlier in the season, if I remember correctly. Lisa says, hi Chris, who would you pick in a cash game for drivers between 6,000 and 5,000? Ryan Priest is going to be first on that list by quite a bit. And then I would say Chastain, Chris Buescher. I wouldn't play JJ Yeley in cash, but I think he's fine for an absolute punt. But hopefully that answers your question. Jeremy says, watch Blaney win the race now with my 0 ownership. I think the whole slate's going to have like 0 ownership on Blaney, so it shouldn't hurt us too much. He'll probably be what, like 1-2% owned today? Probably around there, Blaney. I think before the race, before he even got the penalty, he was projected less than like 5% ownership, so I can't imagine really anyone's playing Blaney today. He's also not very good at Darlington. Jay says, Harvick, Chase, Brad, Newman, Kenseth, Priest. That's a good lineup. I like that. Aaron says 109 likes. Awesome. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. M. Hinder says biggest lap diff option. I don't understand that one. If you mean place differential, I'd say Eric Jones, but not really sure what you mean there by lap differential. Brenda says, thanks for all your insight. You rock. Thank you, Brenda. Appreciate it. My first question ever for you. Okay, let's picking on the low end. Which do you think would get more points for GPP today, Priest or Chastain? I'm going to say Priest, but I apologize when he wrecks in advance because I think that's just how it works for Ryan Priest for the most part. But Chastain, realistically, we're looking at like a 25th to 30th place finish, while Ryan Priest, 20th to 25th with upside of the top 20. So I would side with Ryan Priest there. Philip says, what's your favorite scheme today? I haven't looked at all of them. I mean, I'm really excited to look at most of these. I saw a couple on Twitter, but I can't give you a definitive answer yet because I haven't seen all of them. But there's a couple of good ones for sure. Obi-Wan says, hey Chris, thanks for the tips. Good luck today. Right back at you, Obi. Appreciate it. Niners says, Jones tie or Kurt Bell? I'll go Jones tie there. What's up, Russell? Harry says, I don't know the FanDuel prices. Under 4,500 on FanDuel, can I tolerate the most? If JJ Yeley's under 4,500, I would say him, but to be honest, I don't know the pricing over on FanDuel. I don't play over there. But if Yeley's under 4,500, go for it. Gerald says, question about this rule for Opto. Must use at most 3, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch. At most 3, yeah, that's fine. For on Fantasy Cruncher, I put all the Dominators in a group, and I use at least 2. But, I mean, I don't think it would be able to even give you more than 3, so I think that's fine. Deezermate says, Chris, make a shout out to my wife, Sarah. She thinks you're thanks, Sarah. Give you a shout out then. MG says, making... chat went all the way down. MG says, making 6 lineups, how much should I split ownership between Kenseth, Newman, and Reddick? Okay, so for me, I have the highest ownership on Reddick, then Newman, and then Kenseth. I'm higher on Reddick by quite a bit between the last two guys, but Newman I'm a little bit higher on Kenseth, or a little bit higher than Kenseth, and Kenseth's right below Newman. But it's not too much, it's not too spread out, but Tyler Reddick's actually one of my highest on drivers today. Sorry if that sounded confusing. Charles says, like Ross Chastain as a pivot from Priest. Yeah, that's a fine pivot. I like Priest a lot more, but I think it's a fine pivot. Patrick says, are you drinking moonshine, and who do you like as a win bet? No, I'm drinking water, but it's a big mason jar. Who do you like as a win bet? Newman at 150 to 1 or Bell at 80 to 1? Honestly, I can't see either of those guys winning, but I guess I would say, I mean, you get better odds with Newman. I'll say Newman, but I really don't think both have a chance, to be honest, unless they get lucky on pit strategy at the end or something. Wesley says, what about Hamlin, Johnson, Harvick? Are you just asking if I like them? I like them all quite a bit. If you were asking me to rank them, I would say Harvick, Hamlin, Johnson. But you have to be a little more specific, unless you asked me something earlier and I forgot. Good day, Chris. What's up, Tony? Nice to see you in here, late as usual. Hey, better late than never. Keeping up with my NBA DFS 2. Any real important updates? I've been on the... You mean updates for NASCAR? Not that I know of, because I've been on the live stream, but I knew, though, that Ryan Blaney is going to the back. But that's about it that I know right now. King Paid says, Bell or Reddick, who has the better upside? Oh, Reddick, for sure. Definitely like Reddick. Dude says, Stenhouse is severely underpriced on FanDuel. Yeah, that one guy said he was 5,500 over there. Like, I don't like Stenhouse studying on DraftKings, but if he's only 5,500 on FanDuel, I mean, that seems like a pretty easy plug and play for the most part. Roshan says, had to fade Kyle. What do you think of this one? Brad, Truex, Bell, Elliott, Newman, Reddick. Yeah, I think that's a fine lineup. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Dude says it also means Stenhouse will be over 50% owned. That's never fun. That is never fun. Because you know how that usually ends with Stenhouse. MC says, good luck all. Got to nip out to the late night shop and get some supplies for the race. All right. I enjoy the trip to the store, I think, and enjoy the race. Obi says, lock and loaded. Get ready to get that Gouda? Gouda? I've never heard that word before, but it's a fun word to say. Steven says, how about Joey Gase asking for a friend? Tell your friend I wouldn't play Joey Gase today. I know he's starting 39th and he can't move back, but, I mean, yuck. Yuck. Amanda says, you think I should change Boyer for Newman? I do. I think Newman's a much safer play today. I mean, maybe Boyer's got a little bit more higher finishing potential, but, I mean, I think they're probably going to finish close to each other, and Newman's starting, nearly 20 spots further back, so I'll just take Newman there. Matt says, Kenseth or C. Bell? I have more Kenseth, if that answers your question. It's close, though, for both. Like, very, very close ownership-wise. Very close. But I have a little bit more Kenseth. I think Bella's got a better chance of finishing higher than Kenseth, though. But you also have to put into account the 5-place differential difference. Russell says, Ty Dillon starting 25th. He is. I like him. Oh, you say good or pass? I would say good. I do have some Ty Dillon. Mohammed says, who finishes higher, Elliott or Kyle Busch? More than likely, Chase Elliott today. He's got that track position working for him. He's got a good pit stall today. I would say Chase Elliott. Logan says, can I say something to you? Sure. Guess so. Andrew says, who has the best throwback scheme? I love J.J. Elias. Yeah, well, you probably asked that before I said it, but I haven't seen all the schemes yet, so I'm going to have to brush up on that. But definitely saw some cool ones, and I love the throwback schemes that they had before, and definitely got quite a few good ones so far. But yeah, looking forward to see them all. Aaron says, Reed says he's out of the race. You mean Reed Sorensen? Yeah. When I first posted the video, I had him on the sheet instead of Ross Chastain. Joe Forrestal says, what is the most money you've won on a NASCAR DFS contest? So I won the Chrome Horn last year. It's the 20 max $4. And that's 20K to first, but I had a tie with some people, so it was around like 5 to 6K. Then so far this season, I've won 3 to 4 tournaments in the lug nut, and each time I had a tie a little bit, but they've been pretty nice, around 5 to 6K each time. I mean, every time I win, I keep tying with people, which sucks because it can be a lot more. But yeah, it's been a good season so far. But I've been just racking up kind of tied tournament wins so far this year. Ellis says Ty Dillon or Kenseth DKGPP. Oh, Kenseth's got a little bit more upside than Ty Dillon, I think. Logan says, Chris, can I give you something good? Sure. Go for it, Logan. Aaron says, check your lineups if he's out. Reed 6. Let's see. Matt says, Harvick or Elliott? Harvick, if you just had to pick one. Jay Lopez says, Hamlin, Harvick, Brad, Priest, Ty Dillon, Reddick, cash lineup. I feel like in cash, you don't need 3 Dominators. I think in cash, you just go 2. I think in, sorry, I was reading Logan's comment saying he's Mr. Beast, like I'm an idiot. But anyway, let's see. Okay, sorry, the question was, okay. So Jay, I would only pick 2 Dominators in cash today, personally. Do I think Brad's got plenty of upside? Yes, but I really don't think you need 3 in cash. I think if you just roll out Jones instead, I'd feel a little bit safer. And I know that exact lineup, and I think you can afford Jones, and Jones just feels a bit safer because if Brad doesn't dominate, very good chance that Jones can outscore Brad Keselowski today. So kind of like, although actually I was thinking you had Elliott instead of Hamlin. But if you can get up to Jones, I'd like that. But if not, Brad Keselowski is a fine option. I'm sorry, because I was thinking of the Chase Elliott lineup of that version, which you can easily afford Eric Jones. With Hamlin, probably not. So I think that's fine. But I prefer 2 Dominators. Dustin says, do you do NFL videos for cash games? Yeah, I've actually got to work on my video tonight. I'll actually probably have my NFL video for week 1 posted tomorrow. The early look, whatever we call it, the early look, week 1 early look. Logan says he is Mr. Beast, guys, on a different account because I'm sure Mr. Beast uses a bunch of burner accounts just to give away $10,000. So everyone go hit up Logan. Kyle says, why are you super high on Priest today? Because he's starting 35th. He's a 20th to 25th place car. I know sometimes he can wreck, but look, he's got an average running position of 23.2 here in 3 races. And if you're looking at his numbers this season, average running position of 23.7 with 7 top 20s and 2 top 15s. He's this too cheap and he's starting too far back to not have some interest in. Let's see. Whoops. Sorry, someone just told me Giannis is out. I'll have to do some updating there, but anyway, back to the chat. M. Hinder says, place differential, yes, thanks. And your question was, who's the best place differential play? I would say Eric Jones. Steven says, JJ has a good record at Darlington, but does he have anything to race for? I mean, money. Money and pride. They're not, the guys that are in the playoffs aren't just going to sandbag it. I mean, there's still money and pride on the line. Andy says, Kyle tried, I assume you mean Truex, Keselowski, Byron, Reddick, Bell. Byron's pretty risky today, very risky, but I don't hate to play in tournaments. It's a little iffy for me. Andy also says, Jones, Truex, Keselowski, Boyer, Reddick, Kent. I'd like the second one a little bit more there, but both are fine. But Byron does give me a little bit of iffiness there. FB says, CP16, brother, great stuff as always. Appreciate it. Got to check the smoker. I'll check in on Wednesday for Mahomes Watson deal. Good luck to everyone. Awesome. Appreciate it. Enjoy your food, whatever you're cooking. Dude says Ty Dillon is 4,500 on FanDuel. Okay, well, Ty Dillon's only 4,500 on FanDuel. Yeah, I'd play him over someone like JJ Yaley. Jason says, shout out to thirsty DFS players' wives. Father and Son Fishing says, Reddick will be a great play as long as the field doesn't try to throw some payback. Yeah, if you guys don't remember, Tyler Reddick kind of caused the first big one. He threw that wild block on Kyle Busch, and he just... Rookie mistake there. Rookie mistake. Although, I was waiting for the big one to happen, so I was thankful for it, but on the flip side, it kind of took out a lot of my drivers. So, like, Eric Jones was involved, Michael McDowell was, which he ended up being fine, but took out some of my guys, so it wasn't really my most favorite block in the world. JJJ says, I have insider info that Quinn Houff will be making the optimal. You heard it here. Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I'll just play all the Quinn Houff today. Gerald says, Ty Dillon or Ryan Preece for GPP. I would say Ryan Preece. TBN Bray 2 says, who's going to win? Probably Kevin Harvick or Denny Hamlin. It's hard to imagine someone besides those guys winning, to be honest. Andy says it is pronounced Gouda and is a fancy cheese. Oh, I've had Gouda before. I didn't know it was pronounced Gouda, though. Is that how it's pronounced? But I love Gouda cheese. It's very good. Or, not pronounced. I didn't know that's how it was spelled. But yeah, I love Gouda. Stup Lubach says, who is the better match with Harvick, Elliott or Hamlin? Both are fine. I'm pretty much split on that. Like, I have a whole bunch of lineups with Harvick Elliott, a whole bunch of lineups with Harvick Hamlin. Personally, the Harvick Elliott fits better because Elliott's a bit cheaper, but both are fine. That Donkey says, on FanDuel, Ty Dillon at 4,500 and Priest at 5,000 still look better than Stenhouse at 5,500 to me. Yeah, it's close. It's close. Although I would say Stenhouse has more upside than those guys. DePalma13 says, Gase can't lose points. He's a solid pivot from Priest. Yeah, the problem is Gase sucks, though. Like, there's no chance Gase is going to finish inside the top 25 today, really, unless there's a bunch of wrecks. Well, meanwhile, Priest could legit get a top 20 today. So I wouldn't really say Gase is a pivot off of Priest. Maybe Gase is a decent pivot off of LaJoy or Yaley. I think's a better term for that. Jeremy says, just saw Bob's tweet. Tech officially done. No others to the back other than Blaney. Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate that. Brian says, any Bowman today? Very limited amount of Bowman. Not a lot. I think I got maybe above 10%, but nothing too crazy. Steven says, has your DK tournament been filled? If so, can you make one more spot for me? As of right now, it's not filled, but just know I can't add more spots if it was filled. But if you send me your DK username on my previous video, I'll be happy to send you guys invites. I can't do it on the live stream or I'll be looking at my phone the whole time. You're welcome, Greg. Appreciate it. Leviathan, I think that's how you say your name. Cash, Elliott, or Hamlin with practice yesterday. Still, I think Elliott just because he's a little bit cheaper and it kind of makes my lineup fit a bit better. And he's starting on the pole, so you got that track position upside as well. It's honestly a coin flip who I think is going to lead more laps early on. It really is. But I think starting on the pole, Elliott's going to have the advantage early on. We'll just have to see how the restart or the start of the race goes. Or what happens after the competition caution. Andy says, lock the Saints-Bucks under. Don't believe in Tommy Brady. I don't know why I said Tommy. TBN says, who was your favorite driver? Ryan Blaney. Although I haven't played him much recently. I think like earlier in the season, I was playing Ryan Blaney almost every single day. You guys in the chat know that, but I haven't played him in a while. No, except I take that back. I played him at Daytona. But at like a regular track, I feel like I haven't played him much. Rebecca says, is Ross Chastain a good play? He's a fine play. I wouldn't say he's going to rock the world today, but he's fine. He's safe. Should be able to gain 5-ish, 5-8 spots today. Kevin says, Harvick, Elliott, Jones, Reddick, Ty Dillon. It's got 5 people. I assume that's a FanDuel lineup, but that still looks good. I like every single one of those guys. Matt says, Reddick or Kenseth, GPP. I will say Reddick. Andy says, Jones, top 3, 6-1. Reddick, 12-1. I don't hate that on Jones. I mean, he's been very good at Darlington. He's got an average finish of, 5th here? I don't mind that. Eric says, Harvick, Jones, Truex, Newman, Reddick, and Buescher. What do you think? You got 2 Doms and the rest are PD plays. It's pretty good. I think you did well, Eric. Russell says, Ty Dillon or Priest. I would say Priest because he's starting 10 spots further back and they're like the same price tag. Joe says, slash mark. All right. Let's see. Andy says Jones matched up against Airplane. Oh, Almirola. Okay. I would take Jones over Almirola, I think. For sure. Gerald says Nemechek or Ty Dillon. I would go with Ty Dillon there. Bray says, how long is this delay? Oh, you mean the live stream? I mean, I scrolled the way up earlier, so I'm pretty behind, to be honest. There's a lot of questions here, but I try to answer each and every single person's questions. I don't want to leave anyone out. Bobby says 2 or 3 core cash plays. Harvick, Reddick, probably Ryan Priest. As gross as that sounds, but I think everyone's playing Ryan Priest in cash today. Andy says Kyle Busch matched up against Ryan Blaney at minus 165. Eric Jones to win 25-1. You putting a lot of bets down on the race today? I don't really bet the races. I just play the DFS part, but I don't mind some of those that you're saying. Jay says everybody give a like for the GOAT. Appreciate it, Jay. Charles says Logano or Kurt Busch. I'd say Logano's got more upside because he's a potential dominator. And I actually have more Logano, so I guess I'll just say Logano. Chat went down. Just apologize. I'm actually almost catching up to the chat. And we're about an hour in, so I'm probably going to stop at around 5 p.m. But we got 10 minutes, so if you guys just want to ask your questions, I'll take silly questions, I'll take serious questions, do whatever. I'll answer them, probably. Okay, let's see. MG says Boyer, Newman, or Reddick and Almirola GPP. I'll go with the second one there. Jason says hot takes, Gase sucks, and the driver or the coach. The driver or the coach? And the crew chief? Well, I mean, he's just in bad equipment. Nothing you can really do about that. Andrew says, how many different lines do you run each week? I usually just enter one line. I feel good about it in multiple contests. I blew 150, Andrew. I just did the 150 max. So I like to hedge myself a lot of places. And he says, no, I believe in Tom. Got him for the division, Super Bowl. And, oh, goodness. Okay. Never mind then. Never mind. TBN says Custer or Reddick. Tyler Reddick. I don't know why I thought about that. It was easily Tyler Reddick. Matt Wesley says, something wrong with your Patreon site. I tried to join 4 times. I cannot keep running my card. We'll try again later. Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Well, it's not my site. I don't own the platform, so something on Patreon, but maybe you can send them an email or something. I don't know why it's not working. It's weird. Let's see. Oops, sorry, chat went down. Okay, some guys talking about football. Jay says, and Bell on cash tonight, cash lines today. That was okay for cash. He's not someone I go out of my way to play in cash today, just because he's right by Reddick and Newman, which I think are much better plays in cash games. And you got Kent starting 26, but he's okay. It's just I don't love it. Gerald says, last one for me. Which do you have the most exposure for, Harvick or Hamlin? Harvick, but it's close. It's very close. I'm very close on the top 3 guys, Harvick, Hamlin, and Chase Elliott today in ownership. Who's going to the 48? I have no idea, to be honest. It'll be very interesting to see. It's going to be really weird seeing someone else in the 48. Ever since I've been alive, it's been Jimmy Johnson, so it's going to be very weird not seeing JJ there. Zone DOS says, have 7,900 left. Only play I don't completely hate is Custer. Does that seem okay as a roster filler? Okay, you have 7,900 left. Oh, man. So this is cash? I assume it's cash. If you haven't used Newman or Reddick, you use those guys. Custer, I'd rather play MDB over Custer personally. If you can get down to Bell, I think that's fine, or maybe Kenseth, but you're leaving a lot of money on the table, which isn't really something I'm doing today for the most part. JJJ says over/under on 3 wrecks. I don't really know. I mean, I don't really expect Darlington to be much of a wreck fest. But, I don't know, there's something always stupid. So I guess I'll say over 3 cautions, not including the stage cautions. Kellen says, spicy mustard, yes or no? I don't like mustard at all, so no. No mustard for me. Kellen also says, sweet relish or dill relish? I'll go dill relish, but not a fan of relish in general, but I'll go with the dill, not the sweet. Bobby says, best 8,000 range for cash on DraftKings. 8K range? I would say Jimmy Johnson, if you're looking in the 8K range. Mike says, I'm late to this. Are you eating the Keselowski chalk? Yeah, I got a decent amount of Keselowski and kind of just being even on the field with him. He's just too cheap. Kellen says, I got these hot dogs and brats coming off the grill soon. Sounds good. I went to a cookout yesterday for, what is it, Labor Day? That's what this weekend is, right? Labor Day. But yeah, that was pretty yummy. Guevas says, Bowman to 48, then Jones to 8. Well, that'd be interesting. Father and Son says, how much do you have to win in one contest to finally try Taco Bell? Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I really want to eat Taco Bell. I'm not huge on the Mexican food. It's just, I don't like it that much. I like enchiladas, though, and tacos, but I guess if I like tacos, I should like Taco Bell, but I don't know. I kind of like homemade tacos better. Appreciate it, MGB. No problem at all, and I wish you the best of luck today. Jameson says, Busher or Nemechek for cash? I would go Busher there. Oh, Dan says, hi, Chris. Thoughts on Bowman and DK GPP? Hello as well, Dan. And Bowman's fine in GPP. It's not a play I'm loving today. And you said you have got him as a second Dominator or in addition to 2 others. I would play Bowman as an addition to 2 others just because I'm not that confident in him dominating. But there's an outside shot. He could lead, 20, 50 laps today, something like that. He's going to have to get lucky on pit road, though. TBN says, who is going to win SNF? I am not sure yet. I'm going to have all my NFL stuff posted over this week, so I'll give you some more definitive answers on that. I've just been in NASCAR mode today for the most part. Let's see. Bobby says, Reddick, Harvick, Priest, Newman, Johnson, Elliott, DraftKings, Cash. Okay, Harvick and Elliott would be my 2 Dominators for DraftKings Cash. And then I like Johnson, I like Newman, I like Reddick. Yeah, that's a great lineup. I think that's very good, Bobby. All right, I'm probably going to head out. There's not many more questions. I see there's a few coming in, but I'm probably going to be heading out very soon here. You're welcome, Zone DOS, and good luck to you as well. Joe says, Ty Dillon, Busher, or Chastain for Cash. Oh, I lean Ty Dillon, but I get the appeal with Chastain starting in 34th, but I just think Ty Dillon's got more top 20 potential. Like, he's got an average finish of 18.4 here, which is pretty good. So I would side with Ty Dillon slightly. Robert says, Elliott or Hamlin. I have them projected for the same value today. If I had to pick one, I would say Elliott just because he's a little bit cheaper and he's on the pole. But, I mean, you're splitting hairs there. I would say Elliott, though. TBN says, when will Johnson win again or really not? Probably not going to win ever again, to be honest. Probably not, unless he gets lucky at a super speedway. Gerald says, is 45% Kyle too much in a 20-man? Or 20 max? No, if you really like him, I don't mind being overweight. I don't have that much Kyle, but starting 15th, I think he's fine today. Michael says Dylan's fighting for a team. It's also true, so you have that motivation factor as well. But I think that's going to be it, guys. If I didn't answer your question, I do apologize, but there was a lot of questions today, but it's fine with me because I like interact with you guys. Let's see. Dustin says, how much do you usually play per week on football cash games? You do only on DraftKings? I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I've been able to up the bankroll the past year because I get a lot of support from you guys, and I've been doing a lot better in the DraftKings point of view from doing NASCAR and all this fun stuff. So definitely going to be able to up it a bit this year, and not totally sure what I'm going to do. I still got to enter all my contests for NFL and see what looks good. I don't play the Millie Makers or anything like that because I'm not going to 150 max the Millie Maker, so I don't even just waste my time in there. More of a lottery ticket. But yeah, looking forward to football. So next week, it just really crept up on us, especially with no preseason. It kind of just came out of nowhere. But I'll get all my NFL content hopefully up very, very soon. The Rolf says, do you ever enter cash lineups in GPP? If I'm playing single to GPPs, I just play my cash lineup, so yes. Yes, I do. Wesley says, appreciate it, Chris. Next time, my friend, good luck. Appreciate it, Wesley. Right back at you. Hope you have a great evening. I almost said morning. It's definitely not the morning. Appreciate it, Roger. Thank you. Good luck to you as well, Bonnie. Let's see. Jay says, before you all head out, give the goat a like. Appreciate it. So I think I'm going to get out of here, guys. If I didn't answer your question, I do apologize, but I do appreciate each and every single one of you guys, and I hope you guys have a fantastic night over on DraftKings. And if you don't, I hope you at least enjoy the race. I'll see you in the next video.